Hello and greetings. I am about to start a stream where I'm going to go through installing, setting up and playing around a bit with different user-friendly Linux distributions for people who are interested in getting into Linux or just want to poke around and just try and learn it, or just out of curiosity just want to see it and maybe like try and actually use it. So in order to actually join me along, you will need to download Virtualbox if you're on Windows or Mac. If you're on Linux, you don't need my help because you probably already know how to use Virtualbox by that point. So first thing you need to do is that you need to go to virtualbox.org and you need to download Virtualbox 6.1 or anything that is newer. And choose your operating system, Windows hosts or OS X hosts. This is a Windows host because this is my laptop, and you just save it. And you will also need to pick up the Virtualbox Oracle VM Virtualbox extension pack, which you just click here and download. This is a very small file. And then, once they are downloaded, you install them. And yeah, we're gonna use everything here. I don't want the shortcuts on the desktop, and I don't want the quick launch bar. Proceed with installation now. While you install, the network might dip out a bit because it's installing a network driver for the virtual network. Yes, start Virtualbox. And here we have Virtualbox. Oh, it offers to download the extension too now. That's cool. When I used Virtualbox, it didn't do that. Well, sure enough, we already have it downloaded. So we're just gonna click on that, and it will open in here, and we can choose to install it. And you will have to scroll down here and click I agree. Essentially, the extension pack makes it so that you are not allowed to use Virtualbox in a corporate environment. You can use it in a corporate environment for free if you don't use the extension pack, but the extension pack contains like USB drivers and things like that, so you can actually plug in USBs into your virtual machine. Now you will have to create a new virtual machine. So we will click new, and this will be just a general Linux one. And here's the thing: you can choose Linux on this, but it essentially what happens is that it will set some default values for you. And with Linux and just the kernel, it will be a bit too low. So the easiest thing is to go for Linux and then just choose Ubuntu 64-bit. And click next. Now you want to give it RAM. You will not need more than 4 GB of RAM on most Linux distributions. So you can move this up to there, 4096, and we want to create a new virtual hard drive, and we want it to be a VDI, virtual disk image. If you use VMware, which is a different virtual machine system, you can use VMDK. You can also do some other fun things with VMDK, but that's out of the scope of this video. Next, we want it to be dynamically allocated. This means that the disk file, you can set it to be 30 gigabytes big in size, but it will only start out as a tiny file at maybe a megabyte. And then as you install things and it starts using more and more of those 30 gigabytes, it will grow up to a maximum of 30 gigabytes. So dynamically allocated. I would recommend you to just go with 30 gigabytes on it, because that's more than enough for any Linux distribution for you to play around in a virtual machine. 10 gigabytes might be a bit too small for some bigger distributions. So 30 means that you can actually install it, play around with it, install some applications, and play around with it, and possibly break it. So you can actually like reliably use it without it going like, hey, there's no space, I can't install things now. And that's it, we're done. So what I would recommend you to do now is that you go to settings. And I'm showing you this because it will only show up the first time you do it. So you go here, and it says controller IDE empty, and then there's a small CD icon here. Or if you don't know what a CD or DVD is, it will just be like this circle icon. And you want to click on this icon and choose a disk file. Oh, sorry, choose or create an optical disk is what you want. Choose or create an optical disk, and you click add, and then you find your ISO file that you have downloaded from a Linux page, and I have an ISO file here. So you just choose that and then select it and click choose. And you often want to keep this as a live CD/DVD for whenever it comes to Linux, because that means that it will automatically unmount or remove this hard drive, this CD or ISO file from the virtual machine once everything is installed. If you want to share USBs, you can actually do that here. You can actually add directly some USBs here, or you can just make a any new USBs that get connected after you have started the virtual machine will go straight to the virtual machine. On display, on graphics controller, if you have any problems, you can try and change these to from VMSVGA to VBox VGA or VBox SVGA. Just go with the defaults for now, but if you get any problems, try and change the graphics controller. 3D acceleration only works when you have installed the guest editions for the virtual machine. I will show you how to install them, or how to mount them at least. And that's it, really. That's all you need to do. You can come into system. I'm not sure if it's what is actually default anymore. Oh yeah, you want to enable EFI. A lot of new Linux distributions are EFI only, so you want to enable EFI on system. And then you click OK. You can also actually go back into system and go to processor, and you can assign more than one processor core to the virtual machine. I have 4 cores on this computer, so I can assign it 2. And then you click start, and you will get a window open. Close that one. And this is how it looks like. It didn't start from the ISO file, because the ISO file I have is not a live CD, so it doesn't work like that. It's literally just a command line installer for a Linux distribution that I often use. But once the system is installed for you, what you would like, what you want to do is that you want to go to devices and insert guest editions CD image. And what this will do is that it will put in the install CD for like the graphics driver and like all the Virtualbox stuff. And it will show up in your file browser. You just click it, and then there is a install on Linux or run on Linux or something like that, or Linux setup file that you just either double click on, or you go into a terminal and just run it. But I think you can just double click it. From what I remember when I used VirtualBox, you can just double click it. And after that, you can actually enable drag and drop, shared clipboard, and shared folders. Like, you get access to so much functions after that. That is all you need to know. And also, once you click into a VirtualBox window, you will get this this message. It essentially tells you that, hey, your mouse and keyboard will now be captured by the virtual machine, and in order to actually get out of the virtual machine, press the right control key. Or the right CTRL key, if you don't know what the control key is. So, click capture, and now I can actually type into the virtual machine here. And in order to actually get out, because I can't move the cursor outside of the virtual machine now, I need to press the right control key, and I will get my cursor back. And I can now leave the virtual machine. Okay, that is the general how to get set up to follow along in my stream now. I'm gonna close this video, upload this, I'm gonna close the recording, upload this video, and I'm going to go to my stream and start it. I'll see you there. Have a nice day.